What's going on, MSFers? Duelim here, back here with another video, and today we've got Starjammers. That's right, Scopely messed up, and they pushed all the Starjammers to the live roster screen a little faster than they would have hoped. So we've got Groot, Rocket Raccoon, Havok, Howard the Duck, Lilandra. We're going to talk about every single one of them, all the T4s, all the ISO 8, all of that good stuff. We're also going to be talking about a change to the Cosmic Crucible store that I have not seen anybody talk about, but that's going to be at the end. So we're going to hop over to the website because it's just easier to see everything here. So we're going to start off with Groot. So he's obviously Hero, Cosmic, Bio, Support, Guardian, and now Starjammer. He's also at 110 speed, so he's going to be going last on the team, which is actually a good thing based on his kit. So for the basic, attack primary target for 300% damage, gain 2 regeneration for 2 turns, apply 2 regeneration to the 2 most injured allies. And then the T4 is 40% damage to primary target. Apply 2 regeneration for 2 turns to the 2 most injured allies. I think this one's kind of a meh T4, honestly. I'll probably end up doing it because I love Crucible, and we have a bunch of T4s. But this one's kind of meh. Overgrowth, or actually, let's go down to the ult, since that's going off turn 1. Life Spores. Reduce the duration of all negative effects on self and all Starjammer allies by 2. Any negative effect that has a duration of 0 expires instantly, including trauma. Clear 2 negative effects from all other allies. So this is essentially clearing trauma. And since he is going last on the team, he's going to be clearing pretty much everything. He's going to clear trauma, that slow, all the good stuff that essentially Hank Pym puts out. Same thing with Shuri, all that good stuff. Heal self and all allies for 10% of this character's max health. Awesome. So stats really matter on Groot because 10% max health. Apply immunity for 2 turns to self, all Guardian, and all Starjammer allies. In Crucible, apply Safeguard for 2 turns, which is just nuts, applying Safeguard. So he's clearing trauma, applying immunity, and then applying Safeguard. Oh my. That's about as good as a support ultimate can get, honestly. And then it gets better. Generate 1 ability energy for a random Rocket Raccoon ally. In Crucible, if this character has 4 or more Starjammer allies, instead, generate 1 ability energy for self and all Starjammer allies. And that actually changes to 2 ability energy with the T4. So that is giving 2 ability energy to absolutely everybody on the team, which is really great. And guess what? That's going to be a T4 without a doubt. That's a really good one. Let's go to his special. Clear all negative effects on self and all allies. So he is always cleansing everything. Obviously not cleansing the trauma here, but still, you're cleansing the trauma from your using the ultimate. And after that, there's not much trauma going out there. Apply 2 death proof and defense up for 2 turns to self and all allies. That's pretty awesome too. Attack primary target and flip 2 random positive effects. Call a random Starjammer ally to attack the primary target. And then instead in Crucible, call 2 Starjammer allies with the highest damage. So you're getting some massive, massive assists out there, which is great. And then with the T4, apply Safeguard for 2 turns to self and all Starjammer allies. 60% damage to primary target. Listen, you see Safeguard, you put a T4. Now let's go to his passive here. When this character is attacked or gain 1 counter, apply slow to the attacker. So that one's really good. So anytime Groot's getting hit, he's applying slow. This is obviously not going to apply to Illuminati as long as Hank Pym has at least 2 Illuminati members, because that removes the ability to put slow on them. If this character has 4 or more Starjammer allies, while this character's health is greater than or equal to 40%, lower the assist chance for all enemies by 100%. So this is essentially Echo, but he needs the full team. So it's Echo just stopping the assists as long as he's above 40% health, but he does need the full team, so no plug-and-play ability there for Groot. Until this character takes a turn, this character and all Starjammer allies gain 500% focus. So essentially, he goes last, and then all the Starjammer allies get 500% focus for their first turns, which is awesome. That's pretty cool. I actually really like that. It's a really cool mechanic. On death, 20% chance to revive with 25% of this character's max health. Apply defense up to all allies. Apply speed up, offense up, counter to all Starjammer allies, and then apply death proof to a random Rocket Raccoon ally. And then for the T4, for each Starjammer ally, gain 20% revive chance. So that's going to be 80% revive chance. And 80 plus 20 is 100, so he's going to revive. So you got to kind of kill Groot last. And then 20% of this character's max health, so he's going to be reviving with essentially 105% of his max health, because 25% plus 80 is 105, but I don't think that's how that's going to work. But this is absolutely a T4, no doubt. Groot is also going to be a healer for his ISO 8 class. And then let's look at his gear and stats as well, so you can see what gear he uses. And he is 110 pieces of red gear. He is bio, and he's going to be taking alien spores, so make sure you guys have a bunch of alien spores saved up. And then you can see his health and damage here, armor. Not too bad at all. Not the most impressive when it comes to reworks, but still pretty decent. Now, next up, let's get to Rocket Raccoon, and he's Hero, Cosmic Tech, Blaster, Guardian, Starjammer, and Nowhere Heist. That's a Flash event that still happens. Why? I don't know. Let's go to the special, because that's going to go off turn 1. Attack primary target for 280% damage, plus 8% crit chance per Starjammer ally. Apply taunt for 2 turns, and immunity for 2 turns to a random Groot ally. So Groot's going to have taunt and immunity when Rocket goes. He's also like 116 speed. 113, we'll double check, but I think he's 116. So he's going second to last on this team, or third to last. He's going third because Howard the Duck goes second to last. Maybe. I got to relook at that. No, Lilandra's at 113. I digress. Call a random Groot ally to attack the primary target, and then 60% chance to gain an assist from a random ally. That goes up to 100% with the T4. If this character has 4 or more Starjammer allies, this attack is unavoidable and cannot be blocked. You're guaranteeing an assist. Absolutely, that's a T4. That's a lot more damage you're putting out there. For the ultimate, attack all enemies for 240% piercing, gain 2 counter. If Groot is an ally, flip 3 negative effects on self and Groot. That's awesome. Apply 2 counter to self and all Guardian or Starjammer allies. This attack ignores defense up, is unavoidable, and cannot be blocked, which is absolutely nuts. So like Kang, he's ignoring defense up. Unavoidable means it can't be dodged, essentially, and then cannot be blocked means the damage won't be reduced by deflect. Then we have the T4, 70% piercing to all enemies. And if Groot is an ally, flip all negative effects. That's absolutely a T4. Then we'll go into the passive. On turn, apply offense up to self and 2 random allies that do not have offense up. That actually is really, really good. Always having offense up, essentially, every time Rocket takes a turn is pretty nuts. Gain 5% damage. Tech allies gain 5% more damage. That's been in his kit. I don't think that's going to mean anything, but that's always been in his kit. If this character has 4 or more Starjammer allies, lower enemy crit chance by 50%. That's pretty cool as well. And then that goes up to 100% if you have the T4. And then on turn, apply offense up for 2 turns. So I think this is everybody at this point. I'm not sure. I don't think it's... I don't know what changes here compared to this. I actually kind of want to ask. I'm not sure if this is everybody or if this stays the same, but it doesn't look like much changes. This T4 is still pretty good, though, because you're lowering the crit chance, so that's a really good one. And then let's go to the basic. Attack primary and adjacent targets for 220% damage, plus 15% crit chance. If Groot is an ally, this attack is unavoidable. Awesome. Damage to primary and secondary targets, an extra 50%, and then an extra 5% crit chance. This T4 is pretty bad, honestly, so I wouldn't bother with it. Again, I will probably end up doing it because I love Crucible, but this one is kind of meh. I'm thinking we're going to be putting Raider on Rocket, but there's definitely a potential case for Striker because he's got a lot of calling assists in his kit. Like the basic calls an assist, or no, the special calls an assist. Now, Raider, absolutely Raider. Let's get into his gear. So we've got his gear here, and he's going to be 4 crimson pieces, which is really just 3. That's pretty normal. And then his unique is going to be palladium, and then you'll see his damage here. Again, kind of lackluster, 550,000, nothing too crazy. It's 580 because abilities give him extra damage because of that 5% in his passive. Health, nothing to write home about at all. That's kind of low, honestly. And that's pretty much it. Let's get into Havok. So we've got Hero, Cosmic, Mutant, Blaster, X-Men, and Starjammer. So let's start with his... let's go with the passive first. When an enemy attacks this character, a Starjammer ally, or an X-Men ally, so some plug-and-play call-outs there. That's kind of cool. Attack that enemy for 100% piercing, so he is pinging, essentially. He's pinging out of turn, kind of like Gambit. This attack is unavoidable and gains 50% damage if that enemy has barrier, which, again, this is the Illuminati counter. They always have barrier. Guess who also has barrier? Odin. On enemy turn, if that enemy has barrier, and if this character has 2 or more Starjammer allies, apply Disrupted. That's nuts. So if they have barrier, you are applying Disrupted outside of your turn, just because they're taking a turn and they have barrier. That's pretty nuts. Enemies with barrier cannot gain immunity as well, and that's just a baked-in part of his kit. Lower damage reduction for all enemies with barrier by 25%. So you're essentially doing 25% more damage to anybody that has barrier. In Crucible, this character and all Starjammer allies gain 5% speed for each enemy with barrier. Oh my, that's ridiculously good. And remember, this does not get affected by Captain Britain passive. Captain Britain passive is specifically turn meter. This is speed. Now, the new Emma Frost will affect this. But who the hell is putting the new Emma Frost with Illuminati? No one. And then the T4 is 100% piercing when an enemy attacks this character or Starjammer ally. That's absolutely a T4. This is out of turn damage, 200% piercing. You're going to want this guy absolutely massive. Let's go to the ult because it goes off turn 1. On attack primary target for 330% piercing, apply defense down. On kill, apply safeguard to self and all Starjammer and X-Men allies. Prolong the duration of defense up by 1 on each enemy with barrier. This attack ignores defense up and gains 100% damage if the primary target has barrier. Once again, you're going against Illuminati. They're going to have barrier, so you've essentially got an extra 100% damage, so it's double. And then we've got extra piercing for the T4, defense down for 2 turns, and then on kill, apply safeguard for 2 turns. Absolutely, that's a T4 without a doubt. Next up is special energy upheaval. Attack primary target for 280% damage. Apply stun for 2 turns and trauma for 1 turn. Attack primary and adjacent targets for 210% damage and apply heal block for 2 turns. And remember, heal block is great against Illuminati because of Hank Pym's passive. You're also going to be potentially putting trauma out there. Hint, hint for the next kit. But you're going to be putting trauma out there as well, so that means they're not going to be healing because of the Hank Pym passive. Now, this is interesting. So on Crucible defense, these attacks target a random enemy controller with charge, instead ignoring taunt and stealth. So if we go to the controller kits in the game, we will see we have some with charge. So we've got Storm has charge, Green Goblin Classic has charge, Shuri also has charge as well. So if you're putting this to him on defense for whatever reason, Shuri will get targeted by this. Old Man Logan will get targeted by this as well. So a lot of interesting choices are going to be hit by that. So that can be pretty interesting. This attack cannot be blocked or counterattacked. And then the T4 is 70% damage to primary and secondary targets, and then apply trauma up to a maximum of 3 on each target. So more trauma, more great stuff. So you've got a 2-turn stun, you've got trauma, heal block. Again, this is the I want you specifically dead on the Illuminati team. So absolutely T4 here. This one's great. And then we'll go to the basic. Flip 1 random negative effect on self. Attack primary target for 230% damage. Apply slow. Remember, this will not apply to Illuminati allies if Hank Pym has at least 2 Illuminati members because of his passive. Chain to 1 adjacent target. And apply slow. Flip 2 random negative effects and then 50% damage. This is going to be a T4 as well. I really, really like this one, honestly. And I think because of this, Havok is going to be a striker because all of his stuff is single target, except for his basic, which does hit 2, but his special is single target. Actually, it hits more than 2. It's primary and adjacent. It's fine. But yeah, he's going to be striker because he's flipping 2 random negative effects on self with his striker attack, and I think that's pretty good. So I think he's going to be one of the strikers on the team. Now let's go to his gear, and I believe Havok is going first on the team as well. He's at 128 speed. Yep, he's at 128. And then his gear, he's got 3 slots as usual, and then he is going to be taking Crimson Infinite Energy, so make sure you have some of that saved up. Next up, we've got Howard the Duck, and we're going to fly around the page here for a second. We're going to go to the passive. So Detective Duck. And this is a really interesting passive. He's got some Captain Britain passive here. He's got some interesting things here. So, on spawn, apply defense up for 2 turns to self and all Starjammer allies. Because Illuminati goes super fast, you're going to want that defense up to survive. In Crucible, fill speed bar for self and Starjammer allies by 15% plus 5% per Starjammer ally. So this will not work against Captain Britain and the Illuminati team. But this is essentially giving you 35% speed bar on spawn. For context, New Warriors is only 25% with the full team. So this is 10% more than that. So this team is going to be going extremely fast if it goes against anybody that does not affect turn meter. On enemy turn, if this character has barrier, attack that enemy for 200% piercing, so more out of turn damage. Havok and Howard the Duck are going to be absolutely smacking Illuminati members outside of their turn, which is great. In Crucible, before this character takes a turn, if this character has 4 or more Starjammer allies, the speed of all enemies can only be altered by positive and negative effects. Now, this is negating Man-Thing's passive. So this is changing so that Man-Thing cannot give that 20% speed until Howard the Duck takes a turn. So he is essentially an Emma Frost until Howard the Duck takes a turn, which is pretty nuts. That's awesome. If this character has 4 or more Starjammer allies, enemies cannot gain evade as well. And then in Crucible, before this character takes a turn, speed bar cannot be filled or reduced by any enemy for themselves, allies, or enemies. So he has the Captain Britain passive because you're going to put the T4 on. And then he's also got the Emma Frost passive before he takes a turn. That's nuts. That's so strong. So that is really, really good. This also affects Odin because when Odin has charged, he can't get, he gets like double the speed or something like that. So he's not getting that double the speed because of this passive until Howard the Duck takes a turn. So that is absolutely ridiculously good. Let's go to the ultimate BFG. If you play Doom, you know what that stands for. Attack primary and adjacent targets for 280% piercing. Apply ability block for 2 turns and disrupted for 2 turns. If this character, in Crucible, if this character has 4 or more Starjammer allies, apply trauma. Again, this is going off turn 1. This is that trauma you need to stop enemies and stop Illuminati from clearing that heal block and healing. This attack gains 25% extra damage against targets with barrier and ignores defense up, which is awesome. The T4 is extra piercing and trauma for 2 turns. Yes, that's a T4. For the special going off turn 2, clear barrier on all enemies. Attack all enemies for 240% piercing. For each enemy with barrier on start of this turn, gain 25% damage, up to a maximum of 200% damage on this attack. Holy smokes. That's insanely good. And then the T4 is more piercing. And remember, piercing goes through armor. So this is actually a lot more damage than just 70% damage. Piercing is always better. And then he's getting that extra damage from the barrier. Also, some PvE callouts, because if there's 8 enemies on the field and they all have barrier, he's going to get up to 200% extra damage on this attack, which is kind of nuts. So that's awesome. That's a T4. Then for the basic, Quack Fu. Incredible name, Scopely. Gain offense up for 2 turns. In Crucible, instead, apply offense up for 2 turns to self and all Starjammer allies. Attack primary target for 160% damage. Bonus attack for 75% piercing. And then the T4 is 80% damage to primary target. In Crucible, bonus attack primary target for 2 additional times. That's a T4. It's hitting 2 extra times for 75% piercing. And because he's got so much AoE, attack primary and adjacent, clear, attack all enemies, and then this is going to attack 3 times. We are absolutely putting Raider on Howard the Duck. Now to his gear and stats. His stats are pretty good. He's at 120 speed, so he will be going second after Havok, who is at 128. Lilandra is at 113. Rocket's at 116, and then Groot is at 110, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to go to his gear here real quick, and you'll see he does take 3 pieces, and then his unique does share the same unique as Rocket Raccoon, so be careful of that. We've got Palladium twice here, so double the Palladium, and I'm pretty sure everybody's going to be taking Rocket Raccoon from the depths of their roster up to the top, so Palladium's going to be super important. All right, last up, we're going to be talking about Lilandra. Now, we know the kit already, so I'm just going to go to the gear and stats. And Lilandra is 113 speed, and she is going to be taking chromium, so make sure you have enough of those. And like I said, 113 speed, so the turn order is going to be Havok, then it's going to be Howard the Duck at 120, Rocket Raccoon at 116, then Lilandra at 113, and then Groot going last at 110. Now, without further ado, let's get into the store and see what else is new in the Cosmic Crucible store. And that's right, they told us nothing about this. We didn't even know as envoys that this was going to be potentially going live. So if you still need Doctor Strange's passive, Moondragon's passive, Moondragon's ultimate, any sort of awakened abilities for Astral for the reworks, it looks like only, we've got them here for 500 Crucible credits. So I know this is going to be mainly for new players, but because I think they gave us all of the reworked ones for free. But this is going to be a great place to get them, and it's only 500 credits as well. And it actually gives some people a reason to look at the Cosmic Crucible store. So I think that's a win. I think that's a big win with the change that they made to the War store as well, because guess what? I actually have a reason to look here, and it's not just for Oath Shards. I get to get some Awakened abilities. So, you know what, Scopely? I'm going to give you some credit. This should have been done 6 months ago, but I'm going to give you some credit. This is great. Keep it up. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. That was the Starjammers full breakdown, full ISO 8, all the good stuff. Also, before I forget, I think I didn't say Lilandra's ISO 8 class. Lilandra's probably going to be a striker as well. So we've got striker Lilandra, striker Havok. Howard the Duck's going to be Raider, Rocket's Raider, and Groot is healer. There you go. There's all of them. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was a longer video because they released all the kits at once. So good on them. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, this has been Duel 'em. Later, MSFers.